Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Luxury Presence panel. My name is Chris Linsell. I'm the Director of Content here at Luxury Presence, and I am so excited to have you all here with us today. We've got a fantastic conversation in store for you, and I'm not going to take too much time before we start jumping in. But first, just a couple of housekeeping things for you to be aware of. This is a Presence Panel conversation where we here at Luxury Presence interview the top of the top, the creme de la creme of real estate professionals and dig into their areas of expertise. Today, we've got an amazing panelist who's going to talk to us about her strategy on what I would consider the gold standard for property marketing in our industry. But we want you to be a part of the conversation too. So make sure you're using the Q&A function here on Zoom to ask your questions. I'll do my best to weave them into our conversation, but we will have a Q&A time at the end of the presentation. So if we don't get to things organically, we'll see if we can grab them at the end. Otherwise, just be aware, this is a place where you should ask questions and interact. So make sure you continue to use that chat. Love to see everybody chiming in to letting us know where they are from. Keep that going. I've got my right eye on the chat, my left eye, I'll keep on our amazing panelists who I want to introduce now. We have joining us the wonderful, the amazing Shannon Gillette. Shannon, I could wax poetic about who you are and what you do, but why don't we have you give yourself a brief introduction? Tell everybody here who you are, where you are working, and just maybe a 30-second history about how you got into real estate and found yourself here with us today.
Well, thank you so much for having me today. My name is Shannon Gillette. I am proud to lead one of the top real estate teams here in Arizona with we'll sell around 250 homes this year, with the majority of our clients coming directly from YouTube and Instagram. And we also have a very unique way of marketing our listings where we can confidently say it's hard for anyone to match the level of exposure we're getting for our listings right now. And I'm so excited to talk more about all of that.
Amazing. Thank you, Shannon. We're so excited to have you here. You might notice, if you are observant, you might notice there's actually three faces on the screen here. My friend Laura McDonald, another one of my teammates here at Luxury Presence, is joining us. Laura, would you just say hello to folks? Tell us who you are and what you do here.
Yes. Hello, everyone. First of all, I have to start by saying there is a Laura MacDonald in the chat, which excites me deeply. But I am Laura McDonald. I have been at Luxury Presence as an account executive for about 3.5 years. Shannon, thank you so much for joining us. I work on the sales team. So if anyone is not a client and looking to book time with us, I'm going to give you guys a QR code at the end. You can book time with me or one of my colleagues. And I live in North Lake Tahoe on the Nevada side in Incline Village. If we have any
Incredible.
or NorCal people here.
Love it. Let's dive right in. We're all here because we want to hear what you have to say, Shannon. And I want to set the stage a little bit. Shannon, you have what I would consider to be one of the strongest property marketing strategies in this industry. And I've been doing content and commentary in the real estate space for over a decade now. Before we get tactical, I want to zoom out a little bit. Can you tell me, when you think about listing a property for sale, is there a philosophy? Is there kind of like a standard that you're holding yourself? Let's not talk tactical yet. Let's just talk about kind of big picture philosophy when it comes to listing property for sale. Are there any axioms or like kind of words of wisdom that you live by here?
Well, one thing I like to think about often is the fact that there aren't any sellers selling for fun right now, especially in my market, Phoenix, Arizona. We're very much in a buyer's market. The average home is taking 30 to 60 days to sell. The average home is not selling overnight. And these sellers, we have at any given time, we have about 40 active listings. And I can't remember a time when a seller woke up one day and said, I'm just going to sell my house for fun right now. Like anyone that has their home on the market, they need to sell. And this is one of their biggest assets. It's not a joke to them. And I started my career in new home sales when I could only sell the new homes. And when people would come into my sales office and they'd want to buy one of my beautiful brand new homes, they often had a home to sell. And this was back during the recession of 08, 09. And they would go out and hire a real estate agent. And I just started to see the same thing happen over and over again, where agents, they mean well. I mean, they're great at their job, but as far as listing marketing, really all they were doing is putting a sign in the yard, hiring a photographer, and putting the home on Zillow. And the home wouldn't sell, and it would really frustrate me. And I'm like, why aren't real estate agents marketing their listings? So when I left new home sales in 2014, I went on this journey to learn everything I could about listing marketing. And I quickly learned that video is the best way to market a listing. And we list a home, we do a professional cinematic video for every home we list, no matter what the price point, because we believe every seller deserves marketing.
Mm. Uh, that bears repeating here. Did you say you do a professional cinematic, like the full bore for every listing, no matter if it's a $10 million luxury compound or like a modest rural starter home? I mean, am I hearing that correctly?
Yes, I believe for a buyer looking at a property online, it's a much different experience watching a well-produced video that not only tells the story of the home and all of the features and benefits, but the lifestyle of the home. What's the neighborhood like? What's the town like? And you really can only do that well with video. And just like 10 years ago, it was uncommon to hire a professional photographer, and we all laugh at that now. Like, who would list a home without professional photos? Probably nobody listening to this webinar. I feel the same way about video. In my mind, I'm like, who would list a home without a professional video?
Mm.
Because it works. We're selling our homes faster and for more, and often as a direct result of the marketing, because there's a lot that goes behind that with the video and the Google ads and the social media platforms. But the average US adult spending 2 hours a day on social media, and YouTube is the second most visited website in the world. If your listing is not on YouTube and it's not on social media, you're missing a huge buyer pool, and every seller deserves marketing. So we don't list many of these, but we've listed $50,000 manufactured homes on leased land. And that manufactured home still has a video because there's still a lifestyle there and there's still features and benefits. And that seller deserves marketing just like the $10 million seller does.
Mm. It's pretty amazing to hear kind of the scope and spectrum of your video approach, because I think there are a lot of folks, even in this webinar today, who would be skeptical of the value, understanding and returning value from investment in that sort of project on a property that might be hard to highlight with video. But one of the things I'm hearing from you here is that it is as much as an investment in the people, in the sellers themselves, and in um, providing like an A level of service for all of your clients, not just the ones who are selling things in fancy area codes. I mean, how do you, is that an official part of your philosophy, that this is as much a it's as much about marketing the homes as it is about servicing and providing premium service to all of your clients? I mean, is that right?
It is. And 30% of our team's listings are what we call listing takeovers. That means the home's been on the market with another agent at least one time over the past 6 months. And this isn't a joke to these sellers. I walk into this listing consultation, I sit at their dining room table, and it's not uncommon for a seller to have tears in their eyes, especially after going through 6 months of frustration. And although they are disappointed in the lack of marketing, it's honestly not their first complaint. Their first complaint is the lack of communication. They really feel like these agents are just putting a sign in the yard, taking some photos, putting the home on MLS, just waiting for the buyer to find it, and they don't know what's going on. And I tell my team, if our clients ever reach out to us and say like, "Hey, how's everything going? What type of marketing are you doing? That's such a red flag that you're not doing your job, because last time I checked, we get paid pretty good money when we close a home. And I get that video is expensive. And if I go back to like that 2015, the year of 2015, when I really made a commitment to film a listing video for every home I list, I didn't have any extra money. I was driving a used Honda Odyssey minivan with brakes that I needed new brakes. I couldn't even afford the $300 for the new brakes. And I would park a few doors down from my showings because it was so embarrassing. If you've ever not been able to afford new brakes, it was so squeaky and loud. And I remember paying my videographer on a credit card, which, looking back, it was very uncomfortable getting in front of the camera, spending this extra money. But my faith is really important to me. I truly feel like God has given me such an incredible platform here, and such an incredible platform to help our sellers sell faster and for more. And something just told me, don't give up. Keep filming videos, keep posting them even when nobody is watching. And now I have Instagram Reels with hundreds of thousands of views. My average YouTube video is getting 5,000 views within the first 48 hours. But it wasn't always like that. I used to post videos that were super cringy and 5 people watched, but I just kept posting.
So there's a huge lesson to be learned here for me. And part of it is this understanding that you start from the bottom here. Like you didn't just inherit an Instagram account with tens of thousands of followers on it. You started um, posting and creating content. And this was an iterative process. You learned along the way what it took to be successful in this medium and to reach people. One of the things that you told me during our pre-event conversation was you realized pretty early on there was an unlock for any kind of property marketing when you put your face and your voice in the marketing, and it wasn't just the property itself. Can you talk a little bit about that? What is that unlock of involving you as the professional as a part of the marketing rather than the more traditional kind of static marketing that we see?
When I started filming listing videos in 2015, it was very uncommon to have the actual agent on camera. Barely anybody was doing listing videos. If they were, it was for those ultra luxury properties, which that's an easy video to film. I don't even really want to talk about the luxury marketing, right? Like, you could film a $10 million listing, it's going to get views, but like, what about the $300,000 home or the very builder basic home that isn't scroll stopping? How do you film a listing video that will actually keep the viewer's attention and get views? And how can you write a script where that video can live on YouTube forever? I get leads today from videos I filmed 2 years ago. So I want to give you some tips on how you can do that. But I have studied marketing. I have filmed thousands and thousands of videos, and I now know how to do this well. And it's not all fluff. We just closed a $4.3 million home. We represented the seller, and we also represented the buyer. The buyer was not in the market for a new home. The buyer was not on Zillow every day scrolling through listings. They were online. They were on social media, where the average US adult is spending 2 hours a day. And they saw our video commercial that was well produced, explaining the neighborhood, explaining this beautiful home. They saw the video, they booked a showing, they bought the home, and it resulted in over $8 million of closing for our team because of that marketing. And the sellers were so impressed. Like, I think as real estate agents, we believe the lie that every single buyer is on MLS looking for a home in your listings neighborhood. I live in Phoenix. We have so many suburbs. It's very overwhelming for a buyer that doesn't really know the areas. Like, there's so many places to live. No buyer just goes to Zillow and says, show me every home for sale in Arizona, right? They narrow their search. They have a portal set up by their agent. And if you are doing video marketing well, and you know how to run ads, and you have the platforms to get your videos in front of people, you will sell your homes faster and for more because you're reaching a larger audience. And I'm very confident that it would be very hard for any agent in my market to match the level of exposure we're getting for our listings right now. And I'm an open book. I'm happy to share all of my secrets with everybody because sellers deserve more. There's enough real estate out there for all of us. I would love for somebody to copy exactly what we do and provide a better experience for sellers. But guess what? If you go to YouTube and you type in any town in the country, There's only about 5 to 10 real estate agents that are consistent on YouTube, which is crazy to me because YouTube is the second most visited website in the world. It's hard to keep up with this and keep the consistency and discipline because there's no overnight success. 87% of real estate agents don't make it past their first 2 years. And I think it's because they don't get through that cringy time. Like I had to get through that. I had to post my videos, only 5 people were watching. I had to be embarrassed. I had to do trial and error. And it was worth it. I'm so glad I didn't give up because now I lead one of the top teams in Arizona selling hundreds of homes a year. I don't have to cold call. I don't have to door knock. I don't have to beg anybody to hire me. I want them to see our value, research us online, and see that we're different. And people call us up and say, "Are you taking on new listings right now?"
Wow. Yeah. You know, one of the things that I take away from that response is that there isn't anything that you are doing in your property marketing that feels aloof or unintentional. There's nothing casual about the way that you're listing these properties and the way that you're servicing these clients, even down to the specific scripts that you're using when you are creating this property marketing. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I don't get the sense that there is any moment that you are jumping in front of the camera without a very clear idea of what you're going to say and how you're going to say it. Do you invest time writing scripts ahead of time, planning out exactly what the narrative is going to be on this content before you start activating your video content?
Yeah, the script is so important. The storytelling is so important because, as I mentioned earlier, watching a well produced video of a home for sale, no matter what the price point of that home, is a much different experience for a buyer than scrolling through photos. Scrolling through photos doesn't show the story of that town, like the neighborhood amenities or maybe the restaurants nearby. And where a lot of real estate agents, they try video and they just don't get a lot of views. And they ask me, Shannon, how do you get so many views on your videos? Well, what's your hook? And if you're starting with welcome to 123 Main Street, let's head inside. Okay, cool. You might get a few views, but like that video is not going to live on YouTube forever. So when I'm filming a property video, I'm asking myself, how can I write a script where this video will still be relevant in 2 years and it will include information that a buyer wouldn't see from just the photos. So many agents assume the potential buyer knows about that neighborhood and knows about that town. You have to go into your script writing acting like you are writing the script for somebody that lives in another state. They've never been to your town, they're being relocated, and they're researching where to live. So asking yourself what it's like to live there first. So if you watch any of my YouTube videos, you'll see, depending on the property, we're always going to talk a little bit about the area, whether it's in the beginning or the end. We're going to show drone of the neighborhood. We may even start our video at one of the local hotspots to show that lifestyle. And we're very intentional when we upload these to YouTube with keywords and SEO and all of that, because people are using YouTube for their buying research. In fact, over 50% of buyers are going to YouTube, typing in things like best neighborhoods to live in your town, pros and cons of living in Queen Creek, Arizona, all of that. So you could get your videos on the front page of Google for free by just understanding how to use your keywords. But main point here is you have to be on camera. You have to write a script. Ask your sellers, what do you love most about your home? Not just your home, but your area. Your sellers may tell you things that you don't know. I remember I asked a seller that once and they're like, our favorite thing about our home is a path behind our house that we walk our dog on every day. And it's like, man, that pulls at the heartstrings for a buyer to include that so they can imagine living in that neighborhood. I want somebody to watch our video and be like so in love with the area that maybe they don't care as much about the home. And I don't know why real estate agents only focus on the home. I'll never really understand that. But buyers aren't just buying a home for the home. We buy our homes for the lifestyle. If we all know that's true, because if it wasn't, we would all live in the middle of nowhere and have no amenities and nothing nearby. People care about what's out, beyond just the home.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. So let's walk through the playbook. Let's get tactical for a moment. I have approached you. I am ready to sell my house in Queens Creek, Arizona, and we've signed a contract. I'm ready to get into the marketing. Can you walk us through the playbook? What do we do to get from the moment the contract gets signed to when we hit go on the listing and the marketing begins. Can you talk to me a little bit about that process?
Yes. Well, Chris, first I'd like to go back to our listing consultation when I'm meeting with you in your home. One of the questions
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to ask you, which every agent needs to be asking their seller, is, and I'd love for you to answer this, Chris, as a homeowner,
Mm-hmm.
what's important to you in your home sale? What's important to you in your real estate agent?
My wife just got a new job, and as much as we love this house, we have to relocate to the other side of town. So we don't have a time bomb, but we do have a bit of a ticking clock. So selling um, uh, quickly and within the bounds of the market is important to me. Also, it's really important to me that I stay up to date on the process. I'm one of these people who is obsessively checking my email. So if I don't hear from folks about how things are going, I assume they're going poorly. So those are probably the two most important things.
Yes. And what I would say to that, Chris, meeting with you, if you were my potential client, is your goals now become our goals, and you need to sell your home fast. I assume you want to sell for the highest price possible. That means you need a marketing plan that will reach far beyond MLS. Your situation is not the situation where we can just put a sign in the yard, take some photos, throw your home up on MLS. We have to put together a strong marketing plan. And I'm confident that our team will provide your home with a level of exposure that's almost impossible to beat. So once you agree to sign with our team and all that, now jumping back to your question, first step is preparing your home for sale. We can't rush the process. We have a full video on my YouTube channel that we share with our sellers. Like you cannot just schedule photos and video for tomorrow. You probably need to deep clean, declutter, like get your home ready, because your first showing is online. If your home doesn't look good online, you're probably never going to get that in-person showing. So first is preparing your home for sale and having an action plan in place for your clients to make it very easy. They don't know. They don't know they need to clear off their bathroom countertops before the photos and videos. Our videos are seen by thousands. We have YouTube videos with over 100,000 views. The homes have to look good. So we're going to help our clients with that. But then we're penciling in a date for the photo and video shoot, which is a pretty big process. We're in the home for sometimes 5 hours. Not only are we doing a cinematic YouTube video with a script with me on camera, we're also flipping the camera lens and filming a vertical video for Instagram, TikTok, YouTube Shorts. That's a much different script and hook than YouTube. And then we're also doing like Zillow Showcase 3D tours and all of that. But one other thing a lot of agents miss when they're doing all this marketing is they don't have a strong call to action. Where are you sending people when they see your video and they want to learn more about the home? Never just include like the Flex MLS link or the Zillow link. Like you have to have that call to action. And we have a media team that moves fast. We can shoot a home on a Monday. We have everything edited, ready to go live by that Friday. And right away, when our listing is launched, we're also running Google ads, because Google ads are amazing. Like you can fine tune these ads so well to say you're listing a home with an RV garage. You can run these ads to reach people that have RVs and boats and horses and all that. And I mean, we're working really hard behind the scenes, but you mentioned that something that's important to you is communication. We are also keeping our clients informed throughout the process. So once the home goes live, they get a weekly report that's very detailed, showing exactly the view count on their media, all of that. Like communication is so important. I think that's a big thing agents are missing right now, because some agents have never sold in this market where a home takes months to sell. They're not used to like having to update their clients throughout the process.
Mm. So one of the things I want to draw to the surface here, and I feel like folks are starting to pick this up, but let's put a number to it. This isn't just you out here doing this. You aren't the one behind the camera, in front of the camera, editing the videos. You've got a pretty good sized team that is supporting this effort here. And not everybody has a team this size, but it is important for us to identify the specific functions that people are playing. Can you talk a little bit about the team that you have? Who do you work with to produce this level of marketing? And what are the basic functions that you're, the check boxes that you're checking through these folks?
Yeah, I am blessed to lead a team. I have a team of incredible agents. I have a director of ops and all of that. Like I've gotten a great team. But what I think a lot of people need to realize is in 2020, I was a solo agent. So from 2015, like when I left a successful new home sales career in 2014. From then to 2020, I was pretty much a solo agent doing this by myself. So it is possible. You know, I always had a transaction coordinator and I had a videographer, but I was uploading the videos myself. In fact, I started to grow my team slowly in 2020 by first bringing on one agent. I never really wanted a team, but I had so much inbound business of people calling me saying, "Hey, I follow you on Instagram. I see your YouTube videos. Are you taking on new clients right now? Will you list my home?" I would show up to listing consultation. They would open the door and say things like, "Wow, you're much taller in person," right? Because they felt like they knew me and I am very tall and they didn't realize like that I'm tall. Things like that. Like when somebody says that, that's such a compliment because they felt like they knew you because of your online brand. And I believe the agent and the lender with the best personal brand is going to win a lot of the business of the future. And if you want to build a personal brand, you have to get your face on camera. So I slowly started building a team, but in 2020, I hired a real estate coach, which I was a big skeptic of having a coach because I'm like, what, they're going to tell me to go door knock and cold call. That's not how I grow my business. It's through like social media and all of that. But one of the first things my real estate coach asked me was like, Shannon, tell me about your day. And I was like, well, I get up early and I make my YouTube thumbnails and I do this and I do this. And she goes, Shannon, have you figured out what your hourly rate is? I think every real estate agent needs to know, what is your hourly rate? And if you're doing tasks that a virtual assistant could do, you have to hire a virtual assistant. I am very frugal. I don't like spending money on things like that. I'm like, I could just do it myself. I don't want to trust anybody. So one of my first hires was a real estate coach, one agent to help out on the team, always had a transaction coordinator, videographer, but a virtual assistant was a game changer. So my virtual assistant is doing a lot of the back end work with YouTube and tagging and uploading and all of that. Obviously, as you grow a bigger team, then the bigger hires like director of ops and all of that's super important. But I don't think that should be an excuse to stop somebody that they don't have a team, right? Because I did this alone for a long time.
Mm. So let's talk about tools. When you are, if you're sitting in this webinar here and you want to get started in this level of marketing, video marketing specifically, are there kind of basic tool sets that we should be using? Maybe let's start with video. Are there video tools, editing, anything that you would suggest to folks from a tactical perspective if they're starting from zero that'll help them get to one?
Yeah, a lot of people ask me, how do I find a videographer, right? That's really kind of difficult, but a lot easier these days. There's such great equipment. How I found my videographer is I found a guy that he was a photographer for just a big company in town shooting listing photos. He was going to college. He hadn't really done much with video. And I asked him, I'm like, hey, something's telling me I just need to film a listing video for every home I list. Will you go on this journey with me? And for many years, he worked for me on his days off when he wasn't in school. And we did this kind of together of just trial and error of video. A lot of people are surprised to learn I don't have videographers on staff because we simply film too much content. I mean, there may be weeks where we are listing 5 to 20 homes in one week and every home has a video. It's too much for like one videographer. And it's just more convenient to hire that out. So I hire a media team here in Arizona that works for all agents. I answer every DM over on Instagram. So if people have more specific questions on that, I'm happy to help. So yeah, media team videographer is important. You can even reach out to local wedding videographers. Like usually they're not doing a lot, like weekdays, maybe they could help, or college kids that are in film school. Like there should be no excuse to not find a videographer. I believe every seller deserves professional video. Yes, you can film with your cell phone. I guess that's better than nothing, but I prefer professional video because just like professional photos, you know, are important. And also you asked about tools, and when a client reaches out to us, they've already Googled us, they've already researched us. And it's so funny to me, the amount of agents that don't understand the power of their brand. They don't understand the power of their website presence. I am very proud of our website. You can visit our website at gillettegroup.az.com. I received a call yesterday from a luxury seller. He told me, and again, like I don't cold call, I don't reach out to, they call me. He goes, I spent days researching real estate agents. I went to Google, asked ChatGPT, top real estate agents near me, best real estate agent in Mesa, Arizona. And he said, I went to your website, and I have to tell you, I was so impressed by your website. I was so impressed by the amount of videos you have on your website. And he told me he went to my About Us page, which lists all of my teammates. He said he watched every single About You video for all of my teammates. And he's just like, I can just tell you guys are professional, you're experienced. He's like, I want to hire you to sell my luxury home. I didn't have to pitch him anything. He did his own research. And buyers and sellers are doing their own research. So what do they find when they Google you? Do you have an About You video? Do you have a great website? If you don't, these people are probably never going to call you. They're going to call the agents that have the personal brand. And obviously sellers are going to research, what do you do for your listing marketing? Like, we have videos on our website talking about the step-by-step plan of what we do when we get a listing to get the level of exposure. So, you guys didn't tell me to say that. Obviously, this webinar is hosted by Luxury Presence, but it's been a game changer for me.
I love that. I love that. Let's start filling in some of the gaps here. So we have a pretty clear understanding of the start of the listing relationship. We have a pretty good idea of the elements that it takes to kind of craft that initial primary marketing asset, this marketing video. Even though the process is going to be different from somebody who's working completely solo, like you were, 10 years ago, or somebody who's working with a full slated team like you are right now, the fundamentals are still the same. Let's move now to the stage where you've got this piece of marketing, this primary asset telling the story of this home. Where do you share this asset? We know that you've got a big presence on Instagram. We know how much you believe in YouTube. Are there other platforms where this asset or versions of this asset winds up to tell the story of the property?
Yeah, one of the main goals with the YouTube video is we use that video for the Google ads. I think every real estate agent should have a Google Ads account. It's very easy to run these ads. I mean, you can drop a pin on the house address and do a 1 mile radius ad. YouTube, Instagram. My assistant is taking anything I post on Instagram because I manage my own Instagram. Nobody has access to it. I'm personally responding to every DM, every post I do. I've posted myself. And so she's taking, like, if I post a reel of a home, she's taking that and putting it over on Google Business and LinkedIn and TikTok and all of that. But I think as real estate agents, it can be easy to get very overwhelmed with all the platforms, all the things. You're like, I want to do it all. But what I've found is you really can be successful by just focusing on like 2 or 3 things. And that's why I haven't dove all into TikTok and all that, because I just want to focus on YouTube and Instagram. I feel those are the best platforms. It's where the eyes are. So that's what I'm doing. But the hook is so important. So what do you do if you're listing a very basic 3-bedroom, 2-bath, builder basic home, not scroll stopping, not professionally staged? How do you get people to watch that Instagram reel? So instead of starting your reel with welcome to 123 Main Street, let's head inside, you have to think of a hook. So for that very builder basic home that's maybe in a low price point, my hook on Instagram may be something like, I have exciting news. Down payment assistance is back. That means you can buy a home like this with a free down payment and then shots of the home. That's going to stop the scroll. It's going to reach the buyer pool that would probably buy that home, like a renter. And it's also educating your followers that you are the market expert. You know what's going on. It's going to bring in leads. So the hook is very important. And obviously you also had asked about tools. We all are using AI and ChatGPT. The cool thing with ChatGPT is you can type in like a little script and say, write this like Shannon Gillette, write this like Brad McCallum in Canada. Like, he's one of the best at listing videos in Calgary. And it will like use our style, like ChatGPT knows. So there's so many little shortcuts you can do. You just have to hire the videographer, get your face on camera. And I bet you're going to ask next, Chris, what if you don't want to be on camera? What if you don't
Took the
like
words right out of my mouth.
because I know these objections, right? well,
Yeah.
Shannon, that's easy for you. You're natural on camera. Oh my gosh, you should look back. In fact, you guys were doing this promo video of this webinar. You found a video from like 7 years ago of me. I was like, where the heck did you guys find that video? Because that, not my best video, but I was super cringy. I didn't know how to speak on camera. Think about the first time you ever went to a listing consultation or the first contract you wrote in real estate. I can bet it wasn't natural. You were probably nervous. You didn't know what you were doing. The same as with video. You're never going to be a natural when you first get on camera, but the more you do it, the better you get. And for the agents that say, I don't look good on camera, so you know, like it is a fact, a well-produced video is a much better experience than scrolling through photos. A well-produced video can find the buyer for your client's home. And a video that has an agent on it telling a story is going to get more views and interactions than just a video of a drone of the home. So you are basically telling your sellers you are not going to market their home to the fullest extent because you don't like how you look on camera. That's a disservice to your seller. You're in sales, you speak with people all day. Do you not host open houses because you don't like how you look when you're talking to people at the open house? Like, you just have to get on camera and imagine you're talking to someone about the house at an open house. If you don't want to be on camera, this might sound harsh, but you're in the wrong business because it's 2025. Video's not going away. You have to get on camera and you can't let that stop you. I believe every home deserves a listing video, and I think you should be on camera. And it's also helping you build your personal brand, and it's helping people feel like they know, like, and trust you before you ever meet. And then you never have to sell yourself again. They are begging you to list their home.
Shannon, tell us, do you have a standard strategy when it comes to ads for amplifying the reach of this, or is the decision to run ads dependent on the property and the seller's needs?
The cool thing with ads is you can really fine tune them. So we always like to ask ourselves, the ideal buyer for this property, what are the things they're Googling and searching? We listed a home once with its own airplane hangar. That home is going to probably be sold to a private pilot that has their own plane, or maybe a car collector, or maybe somebody that has an RV that wants to park it in the airplane hangar. So you can go to Google Ads, and you can even go to ChatGPT and ask them, what type of ad should I run for this home? Here's a few key facts about this home, and it'll tell you what to do. So you can literally run these ads based upon somebody's internet search history. So I also asked that particular airplane hangar home. The seller was a private pilot. He had his own plane. I asked him, what type of websites do you go to as a pilot? And he goes, there's this website where I check the weather before I go fly. There's this website for flight paths. And you can type that all into Google. And everyone gets really overwhelmed when I start talking about Google ad specifics, but it's you can learn anything you want to know on YouTube. I barely graduated from high school. I am not the smartest person in the world. I learned everything by just going to Google and typing it in. How do I run an ad? And it's there for you for free.
Okay, I want to go back to what you were talking about regarding communication and about that number one complaint about this being the second realtor in after other agents haven't been able to successfully list or market the property. Let's talk about that check-in. When you are checking in with folks, because homes aren't selling, with 15 offers sight unseen any longer. Tell us about that check-in. How often does it happen? What kind of things do you talk about? How does that conversation go?
Well, the number one complaint right now with frustrated sellers is not the lack of marketing, it's the lack of communication. And I honestly, I've been there. Sometimes this market's hard. Homes aren't selling fast. There's a lot of pressure on our shoulders as agents. Sometimes we feel responsible for, shoot, did I suggest the wrong list price, or am I not doing enough marketing? Is it my fault that the home hasn't sold? And sometimes our sellers think it's the agent's fault the home hasn't sold. And we know that's often not the case, right? It's the market, it's the interest rates, it's the pricing. And Nobody's selling for fun right now. Sellers are nervous. Like, you have to put yourself in their shoes. If you just listed your property, you'd probably want to know what's going on. You probably are sitting on the edge of your seat waiting to get feedback from how that showing went. And so many times it's just silent. The agents are not reaching out to your client, to their clients. So starting with, you have to be giving them a weekly email recap that's showing them what are you doing to market their listing besides just putting it on MLS. So we're very detailed with those reports showing even like the back end of realtor.com, Zillow.com, like you guys all have access to that as real estate agents, showing them the view count. In our Arizona MLS, there's an activity report we can download and show our sellers what is their competition, what are people looking at in addition to their home. Another thing in this market, if you're in a market like ours where it's a little bit slower, is you have to be constantly running the comps, because the price you listed the home for 2 months ago might not be the value today. Are you checking to see what homes have closed, what the neighbors have reduced their home to? So being in constant communication with data and updates of marketing is important. Telling your client that you're doing more than just listing the home. Maybe you pull a list of real estate agents that closed a home similar to your listing over the past 6 months, and you download all their email addresses or their phone numbers, and you just call them and say, hey, do you have any buyers looking for a home like this? Maybe you do like a little real estate agent bonus, like, hey, if you send an offer by Sunday, we'll pay you a bonus. Like, tell your clients, hey, I am trying to do these things. They want to know you're working hard behind the scenes. And then the whole feedback thing, that is a whole fiasco, because I think 50% of real estate agents don't want to give feedback because there's a lot of liability. It also affects the negotiating power. If you're like complaining about somebody's home and then you come in with an offer later, like it literally offends the seller. But sellers are getting really frustrated. I have this inside look because I meet with so many sellers that are firing their agents. They're very frustrated at the lack of feedback. So you have to set the expectations with your clients. Feedback is not normal. I'm going to try everything I can to get the feedback, but we might not get any feedback. And no feedback is feedback. If nobody's calling about your home, they probably aren't interested, right? So setting the expectations. I'm releasing a YouTube video on my channel. That's a guide video for sellers of like what to expect for showings and after showings, just to set those expectations, because they assume you have just put the sign in the yard and you're just sitting on the beach somewhere, not even doing anything to help get their home sold. So even if you've just left the 5th message for feedback for your clients, text your clients and say, I just left another message for the agent to get feedback. I'll let you know as soon as I hear back.
I love this. Okay, let's fast forward now to the end of the line here. You have the property owner has reached out. You've come to an accord. You're going to list the home for sale. You've successfully marketed the property. It's yielded offers that everyone is excited about. Now the property closes. I would be remiss if I didn't mention, if you haven't seen, Shannon Gillette has one of the rare 5.0 Google Business Review ratings right now. Like, she claims that there is less than a 5-star review buried somewhere deep in her profile. I can't seem to
It
find
was a
it.
neighbor that didn't like a bird calling machine. It wasn't even my client.
You have literally a flawless rating on Google Business Profiles, and I look at a lot of these, so I know how rare this is. This is clearly a proof point that your system and the ideals and the priorities that you've identified work. Do you think that this 5.0 Google Business Review rating, do you think this is a product of property marketing specifically? Is it a product of your overall philosophy of business? Tell us a little bit about how you see your reputation as a part of your business when it comes to the goals that you're setting here.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate you noticing that. It's very difficult. Like, this is a very tough market. Like, clients, they're not always super happy, but it comes down to setting the expectations. And that's why I've been really intentional to make a seller guide and a buyer guide with videos of every step of the process. So if you go to my YouTube channel, you'll see a video that's basically for sellers to watch the day they accept an offer on their home. It's going over all of the steps of what to expect next and all of the contingencies where a buyer can cancel and get their deposit back. And even little things like the buyer has to come back for a final walkthrough right before closing. In my early days of real estate, before I had these videos, I would have clients upset because they don't know the process. We assume they know, but like they would be like, wait, the appraiser has to come in the house. I have boxes everywhere. Like they can't come in the house. Like, no, my clients know all the next steps because they've watched all these videos. So setting the right expectations is very important. And to excel in this business, you have to have a heart for people, not just money, because this business is hard. It's 7 days a week. It's a lot of sacrifice. I mean, I've had to leave my kids' football game to go negotiate a low appraisal or step out at dinner with my family. And I have 3 little kids. And like, I mean, it's hard. But if you have the heart for like understanding that this is your client's biggest asset, this is the home they raise their family in, and like understanding how important that is, you won't want to take the shortcuts. You won't want to not have the systems in place to provide like the best experience possible. So I think the 5-star reviews just naturally come. But I mean, it's difficult. I'm sure one day I'll get a few bad reviews. I don't know.
Honestly, I don't think that that is the truth, but I'm so glad. Now, one of the one of the things that we partner with you on is making sure that all of this amazing media and content that you have has a place to lead. That there is a home base, a digital home base for you, where people who can are interested, like the potential seller you were talking about, who clicked through to your website and watched every single about us video. This is what Luxury Presence does. We provide a platform for real estate professionals to build their brand and build the business of their dreams. And this is one of the things that Laura does every single day. She talks to folks who are interested in using a new platform to scale the business that they're building. Laura, would you mind hopping on for just a couple of minutes here? Could you tell folks a little bit about what Luxury Presence can do if they want to reach goals like the ones that Shannon is setting for herself?
Yes, definitely. First of all, Shannon, thank you so much. I think, like, I'm not sure if you're reading the comments here in the chat, but people are just really, I think, really feeling inspired by what you're doing. And I also just love how you're speaking about like everything that you have built started from you going on YouTube and figuring things out. And I think that's a big thing that I have conversations about with clients that I talk to is like, when we talk about our different packages, which I'll explain very briefly in a moment, like not everyone is where you are, but everyone starts from the same place, right? Essentially, which is I want to help people in this industry, and how do I do it, right? So as like clients come talk to me, it's like we have to figure out what are your goals for your business? What are you doing right now already on your own? And what are things that you're ready to hand off to a different company, whether that be a videographer, whether that be a website and marketing company, whether that be someone running your Google ads, like where am I in my business? Where do I want to go? And do I have the capacity to do it myself, or do I need to start figuring out what my hourly rate is and handing it off to other people? So I think that's a big part of when you guys start to have conversations with marketing companies, with videographers, is trying to figure out like, what do I have the bandwidth and energy to do myself? What do I like to do myself? And what can I hand off so that I have bandwidth to be a mother, a wife, a partner, a husband, a friend, have time by myself, things like that. This industry is exhausting. There are so many things you can do. There are so many things you can learn. There's so much money that you can spend. So I think it's really about like figuring out what are the things that me as a person have bandwidth to do? Like, what are the things that excite me in marketing and creating content? And what are the things that make me want to rip my hair out? Those are the things I'm going to hand off. Those are the things I'm going to pay to have someone else do. So just to speak a little bit to Luxury Presence, I know a lot of you guys in the comments are clients. I'm really grateful for you being here and taking time to learn about our company and Shannon's career and everything that she's built. Chris, will you just allow me to share my screen, please?
Yep.
Okay, so our company, Luxury Presence, if you haven't figured out by now, we are a website and marketing company. we have a bunch of different marketing services. The base product that we create is a beautiful branded website, as Shannon spoke about before. Her website is incredible. Our website is the landing place to tell your story, to tell your brand. As we go up in our packages, what's changing is not what the website looks like, it's everything that our team is doing to take work off of your plate. So our second level package is all focused on what Shannon was also talking about. What happens when my clients are Googling me? What do they see? We want your website to be the most correct answer to your own business name. Do I have control over the narrative of what people are seeing when they look me up? If you have a strong Google business profile and your website is the most correct answer, then you get to tell the story that you want to tell. So that is our second level package, telling the story you want to tell, plus a ton of features in the backend dashboard. Our third level package is running ads to bring in new business. We run all of your Google ads targeting buyers and sellers. It's slightly different than what Shannon was talking about when you have control over your own ads. We use a lot more AI, a lot more data, and a lot more we're trying to target branding you as a buyer seller agent. Shannon is using a lot more specifics. We can talk about that on a call with what I'm talking about. And then the fourth level is an all-in marketing package where we are doing all of your Google ads. We're also doing retargeting ads, so sending out branded ads on social media, Facebook and Instagram, and then Google and YouTube. We also give you a branded mobile app, and we have our human SEO team doing a ton of SEO work on top of what our AI is doing. I think that something that really stood out to me for what Shannon has been talking about is a lot of people like our company because they see our websites working with top agents in different markets, and they always say, well, I'm not a luxury agent, so I can't work with you. And one of my favorite things about what Shannon is saying is it's not about what is luxury, what is not. It's like, what is the experience, right? How do we create a client experience that says, I'm going to take your biggest asset that you own, and I am going to take care of that baby that you have created and lived your life in, and make sure that you're getting the most out of that situation. So that's what we're trying to help you do, right? We're trying to tell the story of who you are, what market you're in, who your target audience is, and how you most authentically connect with your clients. For Shannon, it is beautiful homes. It is, from what we're seeing, a lot of glamour, but it's really, she's going to show this same glamour in who she is, whether it's a $10 million home with a hanger, or if it's what do we say, $50,000 home on leased land. And I think that the part of that is not all of our clients, their website looks like this, right? Some of our clients are on horseback. Some of our clients are in t-shirts. Some of our clients are not on the website because they don't like showing their face, as we've talked about. But it's really about, how do we authentically show you who you are, and how do we take that marketing work off of your plate? I think, AI. One other quick thing, Chris, if we have a minute. Our company is obsessed with AI. We have recently released, hold on, let me get into a different account here, 4 different AI specialists into our platform. Starting on our second level package, we have a blog specialist and an SEO specialist that are actually going into your website and writing SEO and GEO targeted content about neighborhoods in your site. Some people in chat were asking, how do we start targeting ChatGPT? So instead of SEO, which is targeting Google, we are starting to target GEO, generative, oh my God, SEO, search engine optimization, generative engine optimization. So basically targeting ChatGPT and other large language models. We are writing content that is targeting those different keywords, both on Google and in ChatGPT. We also have an AI specialist that is going in and changing SEO keywords on your site for you, so that we can actually track, can we get this page to rank, and can we get Google to understand what our business is about? All these things that you could be watching YouTube videos about, you can actually just have our company do it with AI. So cool. When we run ads, we have an ad specialist that is taking in all of the data from the ads that we're running and optimizing your strategy for you. And we give you an AI assistant who starts texting and pre-qualifying the leads as they come in. With all the other pieces, we're trying to create technology that allows you to stop doing all of this stuff and to start doing the things that you really care about, which is connecting with your clients, spending time with your family, being a human being, creating real working hours if real estate agents are capable of it, and creating this authentic brand online. I'm going to just put this code up here. If you guys want to book time to meet with me, whether you are a current client or not a current client, this code will bring you to book time with me or with one of my teammates. Because you are here on this webinar, you will get $500 off of your setup fee through the month of September. And current clients, you'll also get some sort of discount and an upgrade. We don't have that written out, so we'll figure it out. It's there. If you're booking through the link, we'll know that you're from the webinar. I want to give Shannon a few minutes to just sign off. So thank you guys so much. Shannon, you're amazing. I'm so grateful to hear your story.
Thank you for having me. And I'm a huge fan of Luxury Presence, and that $4.3 million listing I mentioned we represented the buyer on, they saw our marketing, but they ended up clicking and got to our website and registered and came in as a lead. And I have like the most expensive Luxury Presence thing. Like I signed up for everything, so I'm just obsessed with everything you guys have to offer. And the quality of leads we have coming in are amazing. And just even my website, like view count has gone up so much. So this is like something you need. This is like a non-negotiable. Like you have to have a solid website as a real estate agent because people are Googling you. It's 2025. You can't have like that templated website your brokerage gives you. Like people want to Google, they want to learn about you, and Luxury Presence helps us with that.
Shannon, we're so grateful to have you here. Guys, it is the top of the hour. Time has flown by. I know there were some questions that we didn't get to here, but I want to give you an opportunity. If you have questions that remain unanswered, I heard Shannon say that she is the one that's digging into her Instagram DM. So if you have questions directly for Shannon, follow her on Instagram. Laura, would you mind dropping that link in the chat for me? Follow that. Follow Shannon on Instagram. Shoot her a DM. I am confident she would love to answer any questions that you've got. And if you have questions about other stuff around your business, your technology, and the platform that you use to tell your story, Luxury Presence would love to help. We're going to send out a copy of this recording to everybody. It's going to come from the marketing at Luxury Presence email, but I'm the one that gets to see those responses. So if you have questions that from this webinar that you want me to answer to, feel free to respond to that email. We'll make sure to get them there. And if you want to see what Luxury Presence has in order to build the business of your dreams, scan that QR code. We've got a demo ready that we can show you. We can answer all your questions there, and we'll drop a link in the chat as well. If you don't have your phone, or if maybe you're watching this on your phone, you can't scan the QR code, we'll drop a link in the chat so you can schedule some time with our team. Thanks everybody so much for being here. We're so excited to have you, and we'll see you next time on the next Luxury Presence panel.